Right, it's about a week later and this is where we're at. It's all fully painted. I've still got a little bit of finishing work to do around the shoulders, little bits to stick on here, and I've got something to do with these where I've filled over the screw holes for some reason. They're not very good, so that'll all get resolved. So covered in a bit of sawdust and muck at the moment. So that's the almost finished paint job. So I've actually made a start on the electrical side of things. I've fitted a, as you can see there, there's a camera on the front, CCTV camera, so I can see anybody, particularly the little people in front, and also on the back there's another camera just there, which gives me a rear view, which I think is important for safety. So I've made a little bit of a progress on the inside. Right, so as you can see there, I've fitted a gas strut which just assists in lifting the shoulder section up and keeps it in position so it doesn't go any further back. I've also fitted just a little bolt there, and it's latched there just to keep the back of the shoulders lined centrally. And I've made a start on the electrics. If I just go this way, there's a 12-volt fuse board just here, and that's a 6-way board. So all the circuit protection is going to be there, fed from a 12-volt, one of these 12-volt batteries in the bottom. And if we turn it round, they're the two monitors for the that's for the rear and that's for the front cameras, and that's the Mark 5 controller. It's a Dalek controller, and that controls the volume, the voice modulation, the gun sound, feed for a water pump and the dome lights, etc. Really great bit of kit. So that's where I'm at up to now. So my next job, I'm going to try and fit this motor controller somewhere, what we had before, to actually operate the wheelchair base. So I don't know where to put it at the moment, so I might just put it on a sort of removable bracket there, so it just comes out and hooks on somewhere. But anyway, we'll see where we're at with it, and I'll crack on and come back to you later. Cheers. Right, I've got the controller fitted now. So there you go. That's the cockpit. So the controller is just here, and I can actually lift that off. Notice 2 screws in the woodwork over there. I've got a bracket which I've made on this, so it just slots down on them 2 screws, so I can take this out when I want to move the Dalek without sitting inside it when I'm parking it up, etc. So that's the inside up to now. Looks like a robot with shades on. Right, I've just had a little bit of an accident with Dalek. I've knocked that top section off. Just got a few little minor marks and things. So what I've decided to do, because there's still 1 or 2 slight bits I'm not 100% happy with on the skirt, so I'm gonna get all the work done on it, and once it's all done I'll get it outside, get it all masked up properly, and then give it a good once over, a good down it, and get it all spot on. So the next job I've got to do is to get the wiring into the fuse board, and then start looking at routing all the wires for all these gadgets and getting them wired in. So I'll get that done and I'll come back to you in a bit. Cheers. Right, I've decided to make a start on the slats on the shoulder. So what I've done is I've used a piece of the wood that I cut out at the top, this circular piece, and I've lined it up with the front and back, and then I've marked it. I've worked out the angles. There's 23 slats to go on as per the manual of the Legacy Mark 3. So I've worked it out 360 divided by 23 to give me the right angles and distances all the way around circumference. So what I'm doing now is I've got to follow that line as it is all the way down to give me a marker down there on the bottom. So that's going to be the centre of the slat, and the same as above. You can't just go vertically, because they'll end up, they'll sort of not be straight to the middle. So they are going to be at a slight angle. If you look at this, I've just started on the back toe. That's the centre one, and that's the next one. As you can see, the line from the centre point comes to the middle of the top, which then goes to that mark there, which is exactly in line as you go like that to the centre line. So I'm using that line as a reference, using a big block of wood with another block of wood overhanging, which is all square. And then I'm simply putting the metal roller down there, holding it square to that, and then that's giving me a mark at the bottom, and you can see that pencil mark just in there. So that's what I'm doing. So what I've decided to do is I've cut all the slats to roughly the right length, because they are all going to need trimming down from the top and up from the bottom slightly. So I'm sticking them all on now. I've marked each of the slots with a number, and they correspond to the lines that I've made on here. So number 20, that goes there. So I'm using some double-sided tape, and I'm just sticking a small piece just over the centre there, and then I'm sticking them onto the shoulder section with the centres at the top and bottom aligned, so then I can get something across the top and measure down to get the right cut and the right distance on the top cuts and the bottom cuts. So I'll get all that done and then get the slats cut off, and I bought some mesh, some proper steel mesh with a 6mm square hole in each one, so that needs putting round as well. So I'll get all these slats done and ready and painted, and then I'll come back and we'll put the steel mesh on. That's it for now. Right, just a quick update. I've decided to make this as close as I can to the Mark III Legacy Dalek, which came out a lot later in the 1960s. I keep changing my mind. To be honest with you, I've decided to give it a bit more detail on shoulder sections. So I've got some mesh, a roller mesh. As you can see, I'm fastening the mesh on and trimming it down all the way around. So I've got to finish trimming it down, and then I've got 23 slats to put on. I've already got them cut and primed. There you go. So the swivel joints for the gun and the plunger, I just bought some of these from Wicks. They're whoops, come on Billy, move out of the way. The ball float for toilet systems, the perfect size, and they're only £2.50 each. So I can cut these off and drill holes to put the arms through, etc. So just for now I've just fitted them in, and they swivel perfectly and the perfect size. So obviously they're going to be painted silver. So that's where we are up to now. I've made some little clamps inside with wing nuts on, so that I can adjust the tension so they don't keep dropping down. So that's it up to now. So I'm going to get this mesh finished, get the slats on, and then see what it looks like. Okay, just a quick update. I've got the mesh and the slats done. It's been a bit of a job. I've used 6mm square mesh, steel mesh, and I've just used thin plywood for the slats. There's 23 of those in total on the Mark III Legacy Dalek, so it looks pretty good. So that's all them done. And I've also, from Wicks, £2.50 each, I've bought some of these ball floats, what they have in toilet systems. I've just fitted them with some brackets round back. They're only £2.50 each, but they're the correct size and everything. So that's just to try them for now. So obviously I've got work to do for the gun and the plunger. I'll have to cut this piece off and put a pole straight through, etc. So quite a bit of work to do on that. So this is it for episode 7. Episode 8 we'll come back and I'll crack on with all the wiring, get everything wired up as far as I can, and then we'll look at making the gun and the plunger before the final job, which is the dome. Get all the dome wiring done, the motors. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you at episode 8. Cheers.